Yo, what's up, guys? So, a lot of you may remember that I think it was like a year or two ago. I made this claim, I'm going to review all the films before the 20th anniversary film comes out. And I think I got through like maybe 5 of them, if that. So we're doing it again because someone suggested it on our the last collab video we did, which was the best Pokemon region thing, or best Pokemon games. Someone was like, well, you guys should review all the films. And I said, you know what? I said I was going to do that a while ago. I never got around to it. So it might be easier in this format. So we're back at it again. And of course, I have guests with me. Because if I don't, procrastination will take over my soul. First up, Richie, introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, guys? R497 back in the house. It's good to be back.
Gangsta shit. And obviously, Tyrone the God 3.
Hello, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 here. Good to be back.
So the way we're gonna do this is that this will probably be like a bi-monthly series, or at least, because obviously the three of us still have to meet up and we still have to watch the film. Because yes, we are rewatching the films before we talk about them. So all of us have rewatched the first movie again for the sake of this video, and we're gonna do that for every single film. So, needless to say, this is not going to be 2 or 3 videos and we're done situation. This is going to be like, I imagine this. If we did 2 a month and there's 20 films, it would take us almost a year to get through everything.
Jeez, it's a lot of movies.
Well, that's why we're doing it in gaps of 2 weeks. That's the idea anyway. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously schedules may change that, but the idea is at least get out 2 a month. And you guys can call me out on it if you want to. I'm going to say this at the beginning of the video because no one ever watches until the end. Go subscribe to these guys' channels, which your links will be in the description. And obviously, to start this off, we're going to start with the first film, Mewtwo Strikes Back. The first thing is, which way did each of us watch it? I watched it Japanese. Tyrone?
I watched it dubbed.
Richie?
Japanese.
Okay, so we do have a relative balance. The only reason why I watched it in Japanese is because I've never seen the first film in Japanese. And I was curious how that film pans out. That film is also shorter than I remember it being. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. I swear to God it was longer than that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't pass up. They mostly live in Minnesota.
Oh my God.
I wasn't going to let that joke get past me.
As a football fan, I can understand that joke very well.
Well, I'm not even a football fan. I just like the fact that Ash decided to do a football joke.
Well, it just doesn't make fucking sense. So,
it was to keep the parents awake in the movie theater.
It wasn't good. It still wasn't a good joke. So
it was okay. It was a pun.
I usually would do plot summary, but I think Tyrone's. I think I've objectively admitted that Tyrone's better at plot summaries than I am. So if Tyrone, just give a general basics of the plot for those who have not seen the film. The film that came out like what? Almost
20 years ago.
I'm old, ain't I? Go ahead.
All right. So for all 2 of you who didn't watch Pokemon the first movie, Pokemon the first movie is basically the anime's take on the whole story of how Mewtwo was created, because in the games it's basically the fact that they discovered Mew. Now, scientists did discover Mew in the movie, and this all happens before the movie technically takes place. And when the movie starts off, we see that Mewtwo is waking up, and the scientists explain that he's a clone of Mew. Once he finds out that he's nothing more than a mere copy and that he's supposed to be tested on by scientists, he gets mad, blows up the lab. Once he blows up the lab, Giovanni is impressed by his power and states that he can unlock his full power by equipping him with a suit, but there's a catch. He ends up having to fight off against a bunch of Pokemon and serve as Giovanni's ace in the hole for his gym, making that gym unwinnable for a while. This even happens in an episode of the anime Battle of the Badge when Gary gets his ass whooped by Giovanni. Anyway, Mewtwo at this point is tired of being used as a Pokemon and wants to start ruling the world because he thinks it's bullshit that he's a clone and he's being used as a clone. So he blows up Giovanni's lab and everything in it, goes off to make his own gym and invites the strongest Pokemon trainers. Here's where we meet Ash, Misty, and Brock, and there's half of the story. He sends Dragonite to invite them to the tournament, or this big like Pokemon trainer meeting. He gets the invitation, and Ash starts off by battling a trainer that has a Don fan. Okay, and then after that, they all head off to the island. Only like 4 trainers basically make it outside of the regular crew. They introduce to Mewtwo. Mewtwo explains that his clone Pokemon are stronger than regular Pokemon. All the trainers get their asses whooped. Mewtwo has a bunch of Pokeballs to steal everybody else's Pokemon to make clones into those Pokemon, which I don't know why he used Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, even though he already has those. Anyway, he goes off to make the clones of the Pokemon. Mew shows up. Ash breaks in the machine so that the real Pokemon end up fighting off against the clone Pokemon. Mewtwo ends up in a fight with Mew. Ash tries to stop the fighting. He gets turned into stone. All Pokemon clones and real ones get sad. They cry. Ash turns back to normal. And Mewtwo realizes that it's not how you were born or how you were created as a Pokemon. It's what you do with the life you were given. We get a nice life lesson. Mewtwo wipes out everybody's memories, and the movie is basically over.
Yeah, look at that. See how convenient he is. That's why we keep him around.
Better than I can do it.
Okay, so it's weird because the movie's only like an hour and 15 minutes, and it feels like you don't even really get to the Mewtwo shit, like the heavy Mewtwo shit with Ash and them until like halfway through the film. It feels like because
the movie is mostly building up to Mewtwo and his whole start.
Yeah, I was surprised they gave that much development to it. So, I guess to start it off, general opinions of the film. Because, I'll go ahead and say mine, because mine's probably the more controversial. This feels less like a movie and feels like a fucking special. Like, I kind of like the animation isn't really higher quality than what it could have, what I would have expected. It uses, OST is surprisingly, at least Japanese-wise, is surprisingly weaker than I expected it to be. I actually would argue the dub has the better soundtrack overall, because most of the OST that's used in the movie is from the anime itself. There's like maybe 1 or 2 original tracks. Most of the tracks are from the anime. It's so weird, and it's a movie that is both fast-paced, but for some reason still kind of boring to watch. I was sitting there going, well, damn, we're already 40 minutes in the movie. And I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And I think it's just that I think the movie's just not... It's also a film that I realize I have really no interest in rewatching. Again, it just does not... It does not compare to other Pokemon films, nor the films I care about watching. But that's just my general opinion. So, Richie?
You're kind of right about that, because I know a lot of people that have this movie in their top 3s, top 5s, just based on the fact of nostalgia. And that's fine, because there's really nothing wrong. But I think if you take off your nostalgia glasses for a moment, the plot, it doesn't really excite me. It doesn't look anything new from what I see elsewhere. Like, I feel like I could just, I don't know. The plot's not that special. It's just not is to me at all. So, I mean, I would still rewatch it if I ever saw it, as a rerun on TV, because it still is a good movie to watch. But I just don't think it's as special and all that great as some other people make it out to be. The music, though, I do agree. I thought it was a little more superior in the in the English version. But there were a few tracks in the Japanese version I did kind of like. Yeah. The one where, you see Mewtwo whipping up a storm at first, and then you see Mew flying in.
Because he's God, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. So, that music sequence, the one where before Ash jumps into the blast in the middle, I recognized that music piece. That music piece, I actually first heard it in the Mastermind of the Mirage Pokemon special. If anyone remembers that
God,
shit,
that takes me back.
Yeah, apparently that music was in that special, and I never realized it was from movie 1 until I looked over the soundtrack one day. But anyways, I thought it was a pretty okay movie. I still rewatch it just for good old time's sake, but I just don't think it's that. I don't know. The process is kind of meh, Like, don't get me wrong, I love Mewtwo. He's probably one of my favorite legendaries, but the plot is kind of you know, it's just But I kind of have more fun watching the Birth of Mewtwo, to be quite honest, a little bit more than the movie. That's just how I look at it.
Okay, Tyrone.
Oh, okay. So this one is it is. I guess I have to be the devil's advocate on this one because it actually is one of my favorites. It's not my favorite, but I do love this movie, mostly due to the fact that it's not just nostalgia for me. I think one of the big things about this movie is the fact that this movie does focus on one thing that's pretty important in Pokemon, and that's the battles. I mean, Mewtwo does invite the movie starts off with Pokemon battles. It starts off with Ash battling off against a trainer, and then Mewtwo invites all the strongest Pokemon trainers to an island to have a giant Pokemon battle. Like, that's pretty hype when you stop to think about it. Literally, Mewtwo's like the first invitational tournament in the anime. But so I don't know. I like that idea. I watched the English version, and I have heard the Japanese soundtrack, which it's basically just music from the show, right?
Mostly, there's a few original tracks, but most of it's from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the English version takes a more orchestral route and tries its best to incorporate
make it feel
not
like
only
a movie because it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried their best to make more cinematic pieces, and then like the scene where Pikachu's running up the little spiral steps to get away from the floating Pokeballs.
Yeah, the OST in the English version. I think Pokemon's one of the few franchises I would openly say that parts of it you just need to watch in English.
Yeah, the English version of the Pokemon, the first movie, I feel was the first was like the best time for Pokemon though, because it was right in the middle of Poke hype. So they put 100% effort into making sure that the movie was a great feature-length film. Hence why we got famous 90s celebrities singing in the damn movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's just a charm to it I really like, and like there's just little moments that I can always recall about that movie, like where Ash is like, "You can't do this, I won't let you," and he walks out with the army of Pokemon. That's dope. I'm sorry, that's just a cool moment.
That was a cool moment.
Yeah, so it's just there's moments in the movie I just really like. I like when Mewtwo has his cloned starter Pokemon fight off against the trainer's original starter Pokemon. I like when I like the beginning when Ash is fighting off against the trainer with like 7 Pokemon and Pikachu beats like 3 of them, even though 2 of them are resistant to electricity. Yeah, there's just little moments in the movie I like. I will say that as a movie, though, in terms of just on its own merits, there are some mess ups. Like, obviously, if you have never watched Pokemon, you don't know what the hell's going on. Ash's involvement in the plot is very minuscule until he gets hit by Mewtwo and Mew. Like, ironically, until he gets turned to stone, it's just like, why is Ash even here? Just to tell Mewtwo he's wrong? Like, okay. But overall, I say it holds its own as a movie for me. It's very enjoyable, and I watch it basically just for the little moments. But that's pretty much my original consensus on the movie.
Okay.
Right.
So the way we're going to do this, because this is going to be, essentially from this point forward, it's full-on discussion mode. It's going to be just normal conversation. And the reason why is because we're going to have to kind of pick the movie apart to kind of go about things that we each liked or didn't like. Because the first thing I was looking at is I'm not super... The whole okay, so I understand Mewtwo's motivations, and I understand his thought process. But I kind of don't understand... The Mew involvement, I think, is like one of the weakest parts of the film.
Especially in English. Yeah, especially in English versus Japan.
Really? Because I was there when, and obviously we'll bring this up as we go along, the difference between the Japanese and English version. In the Japanese version, he's just fucking about the majority of the film, which is what I remember him doing in the English dub. Actually, I think he's worse in Japan, because in Japanese, when they have that little conversation right before they have their big fight, it's like, I don't remember specifically in English, but in Japanese, he's like, Mew was apparently saying, living Pokemon are better. If you're not using any fancy attacks or anything, living Pokemon can win. And that's what's supposed to start the war.
It sounds kind of weird.
That's the thing that is the most interesting. So I'll clarify because I did watch the English dub recently. Mew, they kind of make Mew the good guy in the argument, but I feel like they had to in the English dub for the sake of we don't want this cute little Pokemon to be talking shit to Mewtwo.
So essentially, it's like American Goku, essentially.
Yeah, so Mew's like the Pokemon's real strength comes from the heart. That's what Mew said. And in the Japan version, Mew's like, no, eat a dick. Clone Pokemon are trash. Like,
yeah, like
stupid.
In Japan, they're literally both acting like children, talking about my Pokemon are better. My Pokemon are better, and then they fight. And at least in English, and I understand in English because it's bastardization because that's not what he said. Yeah, but the Japanese version just doesn't work for a children's show.
It's just like when, like in Battle of Gods, when Goku in Japan says don't enjoy destroying things and then burst into that rage, where in the English version he's like, I won't let you destroy my world. Obviously one translates better.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem and to me, I don't know, the whole point, because the fight itself just kind of
pointless.
Yeah, like when you realize when you realize Mew's only argument is living Pokemon are better, I'm like, this is just a dumb fucking fight.
The point just seems kind of.
When
you were little, it was like whatever because you didn't understand it, but now you're just like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, and to be fair, at least the argument that the humans are making while the Pokemon are fighting each other about they're both living creatures, they both shouldn't be fighting like this anyway, at least hits a little bit harder here by making them both be in the wrong. At the same time, because of the actions that you're seeing on screen anyway, it doesn't really matter how the message is still put out, because even in English, they still say essentially the same thing, and it works just as well. It's just that, for some reason, they make Mew kind of Mew's like a non-factor the majority of the film, and then at the end, he's like, my Pokemon could beat you. Bitch, where did you even come from?
Like, Mew was sort of trolling around the whole movie up until Ash got blasted away.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was saved by the bubble.
Also, side note, and I don't know if they maybe changed Mewtwo's facial animations or something, but I swear to God, he smiles way more often in the Japanese version than he did in the English version.
Yeah, they tried to make Mewtwo more of a villain in the English version.
No, I'm saying he smiles. Wait, oh really?
Yeah, so the idea was to make Mewtwo more of a villain in the English movie because Americanization calls for there to be a protagonist calls for it to be a protagonist and an antagonist. So they needed Mew to be this cutie Pokemon that's the protag while Mewtwo's the antag. So they had to get him to smile a little less.
Yeah, because in the Japanese version, he's on like a weird God complex towards that like climax of the film where he's like throwing the humans around and slamming Rhyhorn through a fucking table and shooting Gyarados with his own hyper beam and shit. Like he's on some, like, even the shit when he's controlling the weather. You don't even see Mewtwo's face. You just see him swirl his hand around like, oh, this man's on some Cell shit. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to bring up is the weird thing with Nurse Joy. So, in Japan, the whole who's this girl working with Mewtwo thing was not really a secret. One of them even goes like, oh, that's Nurse Joy. And I don't remember that being in the English version. I don't remember that being in the English version until literally she fell over and her hat fell off.
I mean, it was brought.
It was obvious and it was like casually mentioned in the beginning. But in the beginning, at least in Japanese, they were like, "Oh, that's Nurse Joy." I don't remember if that was the same case in America though.
In America, they just sort of like, they was like, hey, Nurse Joy went missing, and here's a picture of her, which all Nurse Joys look the same.
That's nothing new to us.
Which is funny, because Brock still goes, where have I seen her before? And I'm like, everywhere, bitch.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. It's like everywhere.
You saw her yesterday, probably.
I almost wanted there to be a bridge version, and Ash be like, you saw her yesterday, bitch.
Yeah, but... Yeah, so it's tackled that she's missing, so it's not out of the blue when she gets the reveal. But yeah, that's about as much as we get out of her.
Well, it's barely a fucking reveal. Like I'm like in the Japanese version, after they cross the water, and they come up into like the island and shit, and they meet her at the docks. Brock's like, oh, that's Nurse Joy. Whereas, from what I remember in the English version, it doesn't become, oh shit, that's Nurse Joy until Mewtwo's like, I have no more further use for you, and she falls over and her hat falls off, and it's like, oh, that's Nurse Joy then. Which is, it's not really a major thing. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing with me.
It wasn't really big.
Yeah.
Now, for me personally, like the biggest wasted potential in this fucking film is the damn other trainers that are there with them during this whole event. These fuckers, I don't even think these fuckers get names?
They do, but they're not.
But it's not. But you just don't care.
I think they're in the description of the movie. They're not in the actual movie.
Yeah, like in the movie, Nurse Joy is like, please wait until my master is ready. And literally all they are able to do, because of how quick Mewtwo is go, hi, these are my Pokemon. Hi, these are my Pokemon. Hi, these are my Pokemon. Mewtwo's here.
Rodlu.
Why are these characters here? I almost feel like this should have just been an invitation for just Ash.
They're here because they have Blastoise and Venusaur.
Well, the one dude didn't even have that. The one dude just had a fucking Gyarados.
They needed more Pokemon for Mewtwo to clone.
Like it felt like a cheap ass plot device that had no real purpose.
Well, originally a crap ton of trainers were supposed to be there, right? Because they were all headed towards the island.
Yeah, but
and honestly, this scene is so weird to me. So all the trainers like have their Pokemon and they swim across and fly across and they're doing all this stuff. And then Ash comes up to the docks and Misty's like, Ash, our Pokemon are trash. We can't get to the island. And then he's like, fuck that. And they hop on like the boat. So I guess the idea was like, these are the Pokemon trainers strong enough to survive Mewtwo's storm.
You know what the dumbest thing about this shit was though? When they go, oh, I think they're at the docks right before Team Rocket shows up with the gondola. They're like, fuck, our Pokemon aren't good enough to get across the island. Shit. And then fucking they ride on Team Rocket's boat. Then the boat crashes. And then they get the rest of the way on the Pokemon. So
they could have just used the Pokemon.
Yeah, it makes it sound like you lied to me. Also,
the trainers' names are Nisha, Fergus, and Corey, by the way, if you were wondering.
Yeah,
seriously?
They don't outright say it. Yeah, they don't outright say it. It's just something you got to look into the book.
No, of course.
Because
if I want to know about a Pokemon film lore, read the book.
Yeah, or look at the
DVD. I just don't even care about the characters to even look for that kind of.
Oh yeah, they're not relevant and they're not important. None of them do anything.
So why should I care?
I don't understand why the fuck they're there. That's what ticks me off. Other than we need fodder. When Mewtwo could have just went around capturing Pokemon.
We needed Blastoise and Venusaur because Mewtwo cloned all three of the starters for reasons.
Yeah, And then also remember, this is the Charizard that doesn't listen to Ash, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it is. Mewtwo even makes the comment his Charizard's poorly trained.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, but he's such a great trainer. Like, Ash is, especially first. This is
out of place.
This is such a bad thing for the first season Ash, because this is Ash at his absolute worst, and we're talking about we've made invitations for great trainers. So why the fuck are you inviting Ash?
Well, because he won that one battle that Mewtwo was looking at on the camera.
It's so out of it. Just doesn't make
Which
sense.
is weird because that's one of the few battles he actually Pikachu cheated, but he legitimately wins.
Yeah.
It just does not work. Because Ash is so unthreatening in this entire film. He's not even. He gets one cool moment, and it's the animation before you realize that he can't do shit to Mewtwo. And it's when he turns his hat backwards and he runs up on Mewtwo and he's about to punch him. And until you realize that, oh right, it's a psychic Pokemon, his hand's not even gonna touch him. Oh, spoiler, his hand doesn't fucking touch him. What the fuck was the point of that? Well, we want to give him a few seconds of cool moments.
I'm saying Ash is a shonen character, and they had to make him act shonen-esque.
I literally can't think of why you would want to rewatch this film. Unless you're just a huge Mewtwo fan. Because if you're an Ash Ketchum fan, there's nothing cool about this film for Ash 90% of the time.
No, not really.
He gets petrified at the end of the film. Oh, and let's not forget about the thing that ticks me off the most about this whole fucking film.
Oh.
It's already a movie, but just in case you didn't realize it was a movie, let's wipe everybody's memory. And in Japan, it's even worse, because in Japan, it's like he's casually talking to Mew about it. He's not even mentioning it to Ash in them, whereas at the end of the film, in the English dub version, I remember he says it in a way, it's like, you know what, in some ways, this might be an experience better left forgotten.
Better not to
And
remember.
then that's when the light comes up, and then that's when they're all like, oh, and then it flashes back, and they're all back at the damn docks and shit. In Japan, he's having this conversation with Mew. Like, they're the ones just looking on at the Pokemon, the clones floating in midair, and he's talking to Mew like, yeah, maybe they should just forget this. And then he flies away, and they forget everything. What is the point of forgetting? You act like there was anything major in this fucking movie that justified forgetting. Literally.
I really don't know why he wiped their memory. And it's even tackled in Mewtwo Returns that he did it. And Ash, points out, yo, you can't just wipe people's memories. So, I don't know. I'm like you. I don't see any real relevance as to why they forgot it. It's a movie, so no events were really canon.
Yeah, there was no real reason to be like, fuck it. I'm gonna just wipe your memory. I feel like that's something I need to do. It's like, why? There's nothing in this film going on that was worth the time or effort. The film is almost a non-factor in itself anyway. So why even bother? And then I think, and probably the one thing I will say I really did, I like in the Japanese version that's pretty funny, is that after he clones the Pokemon, because you're like, okay, you stole our Pokemon, you cloned them, and you didn't even intend to give them back to us. And then in the film, he's like, well, I'm not going to kill you humans. I'll let you guys go home. And he opens up the doors, and it's the fucking sea. It's like, if you can make it through the storm, that is. And I'm like,
damn. I was like, damn.
It's
so
like,
savage.
you piece of shit.
Fucking savage.
You took my car, Mewtwo. How am I supposed to get back?
Yeah, it's like a dick move. But the problem is, like, he never really explains what he wants to do. That's the other thing. He's like...
And I feel like Mewtwo's anger towards humans felt kind of rushed.
Well,
because it was...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because yeah, I get it. He was upset that he was a clone. Yeah, all right. But you're literally like 5 seconds old. And then he gets mad at Giovanni after doing a couple of gym battles. And then he's just like, I feel like being mad at like those 10 people isn't justifiable enough to be mad at the entire world, people and Pokemon alike.
Well, the funny thing is, and I was going to bring this up when you even gave your plot summary, in the Japanese version, he's like, who am I and what am I here for? And Giovanni's like, you're here
to obey humans.
Yeah, well, he waits before he says that part. He's like, you're here to use and control your powers, your massive powers. And he's like, do you want to still run around with your powers wild and loose and destroy things like you destroyed this laboratory? If you come with me, you can learn how to control your powers and use them efficiently to get anything that you want, money, power, fame, that kind of shit. And then essentially locks him in a goddamn room with a metal armor on. He says, oh yeah, every 5 minutes I want you to come out here and beat the shit out of a Pokemon in front of you. And then later is when he goes into that whole, oh, you're just here for my use and my amusement and shit. And it's like, I can understand the existential crisis. It happens kind of fast when you're still just kind of adjusting the things, but I understand what the beginning is supposed to do, and it's probably one of the better parts of the film in the sense of setting up.
I believe... Oh, go ahead, Terrell.
I believe it works for what it's trying to do, which is setting up Mewtwo and his anger and his issues. At the same time, Mewtwo at the beginning of the film literally is only repeating like 3 or 4 lines. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose in life? And I'm
I feel
go ahead.
I feel the biggest shot in the foot to this movie as to the start, the prologue, or like how it's supposed to kick off before we introduce to Ash and the others. I think the biggest problem is the Pikachu short that happens at the beginning of it, because that's 15 minutes that could have been devoted to character development for Mewtwo. And obviously, we know, like back then, it was that was there. The Pikachu short was just there, to keep kids entertained, and because at the end of the day, it's still a kids' movie. But like, I feel that they could have used that 15 minutes efficiently to develop Mewtwo's character a little bit more and give us more of a perspective of how he views people and why he's doing this, because it literally only takes about 2 scenes for him to get pissed off at everybody on Earth.
The irony is the Pikachu sources don't even stop. That's part of the reason why I didn't even bring it up, because I think everyone's effort. Honestly, the Pikachu shorts serve no real purpose other than look at cute comedy shit.
It was still fun to watch.
No! I don't have anything against
entertainment value.
Yeah, I don't have anything against. I don't have anything against the shorts. It's just more so for the sake of reviewing the films. There's no point in covering each and every short for each and every film.
Yeah, admittedly, I do admit I like the opening themes for both of those, because they actually had some pop artists sing those, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's probably the advantage of a lot of the earlier films is because of that stuff too. And like I said, this is why you watch the films in English sometimes.
Right.
Especially at least for Pokemon.
I would say, don't worry, the English dubs films will lose its luster soon, so just enjoy them while you can.
Yeah, about to say, we're not even going to get to 10 films before
while they're under 4Kids control. Feels good, man.
Yeah, about to say, we don't even get 10 films in, I don't think. Do we? No.
I think it's 8. I think after Lucario, things just sort of go...
Oh, yeah, because the Manaphy film has new voice actors, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the one that starts off.
So, yeah, we don't even get through 10 films before we lose it. So, this is only going to last for a little while, guys, so let me fucking enjoy it. Because the next film I'm watching in English, I don't give a damn. Because well, we're not going to get into that yet. Now, is there anything else about the film that we need to cover? Because I literally don't have a lot. The film is so short, and it also doesn't have a lot to really discuss.
Yeah, because it's all happening in one setting. They don't change locations. There's amazingly like 3 locations in the entire movie, and one of them it takes the whole bulk of the movie. The first location is at the lab where Mewtwo's born. The second location is like where Ash is, some random field. The third location's at the island before they get to New Island, and then the fourth scene is all New Island, just all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's not a lot there to cover, or that's worth covering.
Small spoilers for movie 2. At least they go from place to place.
Oh, listen, movie 2 is going to be a completely different story, just based off my memory. Me rewatching that film is going to be a whole new fucking experience. God damn it.
Oh boy.
Like, I will give, like I said, the movie credit where credit is due. I did get hyped as a kid, when I saw the Pokemon battles between, mostly just I think the starters was the only thing to me that was like the most entertaining. I didn't really find any enjoyment out of the clone versus real Pokemon war. Only because, like...
It's the 4th Great Ninja War before the 4th Great Ninja War.
Like, when the clones fought the originals, it wasn't much... There was so much happening at once that it got weird. And then on top of that, the main focus of Charizard fighting Charizard, Squirtle fighting Squirtle, Magneton versus Magneton, Rapidash fighting Rapidash, 2 Gyarados. What's the highlight of all of this? Pikachu slapping the shit out of Pikachu. Like, what?
Yeah, like it just gets
The
war part just gets really awkward, because it starts out with them kind of going at it like normal, and then like the next sequence is like this awkward. They're like falling over each other and shit. Because in the English dub,
the first part was emotional, but the last part just felt. I agree.
It gets awkward and depressing, and it's like I get it. That's kind of the point, but it's also not what you come to a Pokemon film for. God damn it!
And another thing that always bugged me: how come Ash's Pikachu is the only Pokemon that's moralistically correct about this whole fight?
Well, to be fair, Meowth was having a conversation with his.
Yeah, I feel like that was
actually to
that's
me
only 'cause
in
Meowth
Japanese
had the
that was one of the better fucking conversations where they're just sitting there talking about.
I agree.
It's
Well,
like,
that
oh,
means-
so he's like, you guys are dicks. Like, well, no, you guys are dicks. You were gonna scratch me. Well, you were gonna scratch me, and then they're like, you know what? The moon looks nice tonight.
To
You
be
know what?
fair,
Yeah, man, you're right.
That's fucking shit, by the way.
to be fair, Meowth is mostly like Meowth is barely a Pokemon at this point.
Wow.
Like,
Hey, to be fair, in the earlier parts of the anime, he was more
yeah.
Pokemon.
Like
Yeah.
Meowth is mostly human. He talks like humans. He walks on two legs like humans. And most of his traits come from basically Jesse and James. So I guess that was why he was moralistically correct. But the rest of the Pokemon, out of all the Pokemon exist, not one Pokemon was like, yo, we need to chill. Or Pikachu is the only one that's like, no, I don't want to fight. Like, are you serious? Ash has a Squirtle and a Bulbasaur too, you know.
Side note, real quick, just to bring this up, this is the first film, and Team Rocket is just around in this whole goddamn film.
Well, that goes for movies usually in general. Except
Yeah,
for
but
movies 2
like,
and
bro,
3.
for the first film, they're just around all the goddamn time. And to people and folks, just so if you're not used to Pokemon films, get used to it, because they're gonna be around.
Well, you know what? And I'll give Team Rocket some credit for this one because they were just around. But I do like the scene where Jesse accidentally clicks the button, and you can hear the scientists going through the whole video
Yeah,
about.
it's a good way of doing exposition without actually doing
Yeah,
exposition. The
yeah,
problem
like
I have with it is we already knew most of this shit from the beginning of the
Because
film.
Yeah, they already did it. Yeah.
So it just
They-
comes
they-
off redundant. This film actually has random bits of padding in it. Like, I think the whole Viking scene with them on the boat is dumb because we still get a pretty decently long action shot of them swimming through the goddamn storm anyway.
Yep.
Why? Like,
Yeah.
it feels like you have a bunch of extra even the shit in the beginning where it's like, oh, by the way, I love this girl's name in Japanese. The woman that's with Jenny telling them that the oceans are too dangerous to sail boats in. What's her name in Japan? Voyager.
Oh God.
It's just like, what? You name her Voyage in the goddamn... And I know Japan is known to do that, but Christ, dude. They didn't even hide it. Her name is literally... Oh, by the way, one fun fact that I did not know, and it threw me the fuck off when I watched the beginning of the film.
And what was that?
The guy that he fights in the beginning, when he loses in Japanese, he goes, "Oh my God!" in English, and it is the funniest shit. It is the fun. It's like if anyone's seen JoJo, you know why.
Oh my God!
It's so bad. It's so he does. He literally pulls like a JoJo. Oh my God! He also speaks.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny myself.
And Terrell, can we talk about Voyager, aka Miranda in English, for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why
There's not a
is
lot
she
to talk
here?
about
Why is she here?
because we need. Hey, listen, I don't actually know.
We
She
need
looks
women
like
in
Claire. I
films.
swear to God.
She does. She looks like a calm down Claire.
Yeah,
But
it's like this, like, bitch. I took a Percocet. I'm fine.
but it's just like, but it feels like she's only there to do the foreshadowing to tell all the trainers, hey, Pokemon's tears can basically are like full restores.
Does she say that in English? In Japan, she doesn't say nothing like that.
Well, okay, in America, she does state that the waters were harsh and they caused many damages to people, and only the tears of all the Pokemon were enough to soothe the storms and cure the people who were
I didn't
injured.
get
And,
any of this in English. I mean, in
And
Japanese. In Japanese, they must have gave her some extra lines to change some shit up because she doesn't say none of this.
yeah, I'll even quote it for a bit. I'm reading some of it right now, but I know from memory that she talked from it. It says in the dub, she instead told them about the ancient legend of the storm called the Winds of Waters
Oh,
that
God.
wiped out all life on the world except for a few Pokemon, and their sorrows and tears somehow revived everything. It was foreshadowed for like, oh, that's how the Pokemon who cried brought Ash back.
Bruh, I'm just saying it now. Watch the English version of this film. Don't watch the shit in Japanese. This film is so.
That's one of the few times the Pokemon game we ever seen.
Yeah, like
Because
dead
in
ass.
America-
There's no
in
reason
America,
why. Go ahead.
way back in America in the 90s, they did this little thing in the 90s called effort.
Well,
And it's nowhere to be seen.
to
in
be
the
fair, we're still bastardizing the original meaning of the film. At the same
but it
time,
makes
in this situation,
sense.
but for films that were dumb, it worked out because the film came off as better. Because I swear to God, in Japanese, don't fucking watch it. Don't do it.
Yeah, Miranda basically served as foreshadow for the movie.
Because god damn it, she's so unnecessary in the goddamn Japanese version.
What does she do in the Japanese version? I didn't watch it, so
Literally all she ever talks about is that the waters are dangerous. You shouldn't sail on them. And then when the people start sailing on them, she's like, "You can't stop them. They're Pokemon trainers. Pokemon trainers go for adventure. Let's just pray for their safety." And she might say something at the end about it's almost like the storm was never here, or some shit, or like
it says
Yeah.
here it says here she spoke to the seagulls about the current weather conditions.
Oh yeah,
Said
she
she'd
does
never
say that.
seen such a hurricane. I'm like, what the fuck?
I thought that was weird. So.
I spoke to the Wingles. They said it was gonna get real.
Yeah, I do remember that, but they didn't exist yet though.
Yeah.
I know.
It was just it was just dumb. It just
Okay.
So go ahead.
Final thoughts. I guess you have to do that, Trail.
Well, hey, listen, you want to hijack everything, goddamn?
No.
You greedy
Nice
bastard.
job, dude.
We're fucking up. Okay, so I guess the best way to do this is rating out of 10. So, Richie, what do you give the first movie out of 10?
Out of 10, I say a 6. And the reason why I say it's 6 is because it's not a terrible movie, but it's also not the greatest. I would say it's around the middle. It's good to watch, but I wouldn't really expect anything special out of the plot. If you haven't seen the first movie as a Pokemon fan, I recommend you go do so. Just to go see what it was like back then. Mewtwo, obviously, because I'm pretty sure most of the reasons for people that haven't seen the movie was to see, Mewtwo. As far as English or Japanese, I'm gonna obviously say English because it's one of the few times I've ever said that the English dub was a little bit better than the Japanese. Oh, and also I would recommend watching Birth of Mewtwo if you haven't, because it's actually a nice prologue for that sets up the whole reasoning of Mewtwo in the movie. English dub, of course, it's really good. But other than that, I give it a 6, and it's a pretty decent movie, but I wouldn't really expect anything special out of the plot. It's just kind of fair, it's kind of Okay. Those are my thoughts.
Tyrone,
Um,
out of 10, what do you give it?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7. See, I like the charm. I like the charm.
That's actually lower than what I thought you were gonna give it.
Yeah, I like the charm though. Like, I feel like the English version too is responsible for a lot of the reasons why my expectations for other Pokemon movies have gotten so low now, because they brought such a high standard, and the English version did a lot to make sure that this movie was presentable towards the folks, where the Japanese version, it's more closer to the script. It's closer to the actual canon and everything. But the English version tried so hard to make this a cinematic masterpiece, and everything from even the advertisements around it. They made new other trading cards and collectible cards specifically for this movie. The Burger King had 100 toys specifically for this, and more toys for the golden, I think those were golden cards that were inside the collectible Pokeballs or whatever. Just there was a lot of effort to make this movie so good, and that alone made the experience good. And no matter how many times I watch this movie, even though we're not in that time anymore, I still feel the heart that they put into this movie.
Right.
Everything from the music being super cinematic, celebrities being in. I even love the credit scene where Ash and the others are just walking, and you hear just casual music in the back.
Yeah, dude, people forget about that shit because the new films don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
that's a running theme through all the older films. I think they stopped doing that around. Is it around? Is it Manaphy?
Yeah, I think movie 7 probably stopped it.
I remember them doing it at the end of Jirachi.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, the Deoxys is after that. So
So they did.
yeah,
They stopped it around Deoxys or so, I guess.
probably around Deoxys. I think
Yeah,
they
people
stopped
don't realize,
that.
and it's such a dumb thing, but people don't realize that shit. That shit, it's nostalgic as hell because people used to watch the credits because the ending credit song was actually good.
Yeah, the end of credit songs were sung by like actual legit music artists, and it was just Ash, Brock, and Misty walking to different locations, and
Although, if you ever watched it on television, they always spat through the credits, which was funny as shit.
yeah, I think for copyright purposes,
The motherfuckers were speed
Yeah.
walking like the whole goddamn way.
yeah.
It's like, damn
But-
Ash, you gonna lose 20 pounds by the time you get to the next gym.
I loved the ending credit scenes because it looked like I was looking at a lofty hip hop video or something.
Oh God.
But yeah, it was just, I don't know, the charm and the effort. But looking back at it, the plot is pretty bare bones, and it feels like a lot of characters just needed to be in one spot to do what Pokemon kind of do anyway: fight. So yeah, 7 out of 10.
So thinking about it, I was leaning towards Richie, and I'm still technically am, but I think I'm going towards a 5. It's literally a middle of the road.
Damn.
It's a middle of the road
It's
film.
not 6.
I won't give it anything lower than a 5, and the reason why is because it still has. I think it can have beautiful animation at times. I think some of the sequences are done really well. But God, this movie feels so, especially in Jap. I guess the way I should do is this: Japanese gets a 5, English gets like a 6.
All right.
6,
That's respectable.
6 maybe
Yeah,
6.5 if I rewatch it.
I can dig that.
Because the Japanese version just feels like a goddamn TV special, almost in every way. With the overuse of the original soundtrack, barely any music, the animation can go from looking really stunning to just fucking. Oh, it's just another episode of Pokemon I'm watching, and it's just not. And the story itself is not super engaging. It's like Mewtwo is not an interesting character,
boring.
and that's the only character you should give a fuck about because it's not like they do anything else. And also, it's another film, and get used to this, folks. Another fucking film in which Misty and Brock don't do a goddamn thing.
They didn't do anything, did they?
No. Now, to be fair, in the next few films, it's
That's
not
not
going to
the
be as
case.
bad. But shit, just prepare yourself because we're going to go through a big ass string of the side characters not doing a goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of a throwaway film for me. Like I'm a little surprised at how little I gave a fuck about this film because I was actually kind of like just to give people context. I told Tyrone and Richie we were going to do this like 2 weeks ago. I didn't watch the film until today. I watched it literally like I didn't watch the film until like I think maybe 4 hours ago.
I didn't even watch until like a few days ago,
It's
and I
ju-
was looking up some stuff in regards to the movie just so I know what to talk about.
Yeah, just,
Actually, there's one I actually like to bring up real quick.
Go ahead.
Since we're ending anyways. It's actually a little piece from Norman Ghostfeld. He was basically from 4Kids. He was saying along the lines of, quote, "Our first challenge was to rewrite the film and the new script over the footage. We also rescored the entire movie with all new music that would better reflect what American kids would respond to." So in other words, Americanization. So I just find
Yeah, but it was Americanization done right.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. But I was just kind of confirming the whole idea of Americanization because it was something that they felt like they did a good job of, and I agree. But that's still, but look, you could put in the music, which was great, and all that stuff, but that doesn't change the fact that the plot was kind of bare bones. It just wasn't that. It just
you can only do so much to fix.
Yeah, you
something
can only
that
do
was,
so
that was
much.
fundamentally screwed from.
And the
jump.
weird part about all of this is that we're talking about Mewtwo, a Pokemon that, like, in the games, you go to Cinnabar Island to go to that lab, and you read these chapters of these diaries about how the making of Mewtwo. It's like every diary chapter that you read that's scattered across the lab is bringing up, like, how powerful Mewtwo is and his origin story. So you would think, the movie would try to be more like the games in that sense, but no, it's like we really want to introduce Mewtwo, but we don't want to put in any of the effort to make it as epic as the games brought him up to be.
It's so undersold. It's almost surprising. It's like you the games put more effort in making him look like a badass than the film did. The film made him run around with an identity crisis. I almost want to take that. I almost want to take that Mega Man X clip of Zero screaming, "What am I fighting for?"
What am I fighting for?
It's literally, to me, that's Mewtwo's like whole chunk. At least in the first, was that 20?
They Shadow the Hedgehog his ass before Shadow the Hedgehog existed.
It's like the first 20, 30 minutes of the film. That's literally all Mewtwo is. Who am I? Why am I here? Why was I created? What am I fighting for? Like,
What?
And you're just like, Jesus Christ. It's Mewtwo, for God's sakes. Luckily, things get better. Very quickly, I might add.
I would say a little way better.
It's like, it almost threw me the fuck off. I was not prepared. But we'll get into that next time.
Yay!
But just wrapping it up. I don't give a fuck. If you feel the need to watch this film, watch it in English. Do not watch this fucking film in Japanese, and that's such a bad way for me to start this whole thing off. I didn't think this is how it was going to start. I knew, because a lot of people already know. For the later films, it's going to be the exact opposite. I'm surprised the very first film I watched in Japanese was like, this actually was better in English. Because holy shit, it almost felt like Japan didn't give a fuck, like dead ass. But yeah, I think that's about it. I did want to give Richie and Tyrone some time if they want to talk about the whole Birth of Mewtwo thing.
Richie, you want me to do the plot thing again?
Because I haven't seen it, so I want to give them
some
time to talk about it. So go ahead.
Okay, The Birth of Mewtwo. The Birth of Mewtwo is basically a 10-minute special about basically about how Mewtwo was born, the creation of him, and going through everything that was centered around it. So there's also a CD version of it that's only exclusive for Japan that goes into a little bit of story about how Jesse's mom was the one to discover Mew and help Team Rocket go in to try to capture it, but she got killed in that mission, and that's why, we got Jesse and Team Rocket. Anyway, moving forward, we got Mewtwo, and he's being born, and the doctor that's trying to create Mewtwo is also trying to clone Charmander, a Squirtle, and a Bulbasaur, and a little girl. Well, this little girl, he's trying to clone her because she ended up dying of a sickness a long time ago, and he's trying his best to clone her so that they can have their daughter again. So while in the cloning tubes, they're all unconscious, and Mewtwo is basically able to look through the minds of all of them thanks to psychic powers. Mm-hmm. The little girl basically shows Mewtwo the ropes of how life works: water, day, night, the moon, the sun, all of it, and while being accompanied by Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is because since the cloning machine is unstable, it's not able to sustain the clones long enough. Charmander dies. Charmander dies, Squirtle dies, Bulbasaur dies, and the little girl unfortunately doesn't make it either. Mewtwo's just sort of left that way, and then we get the opening of the movie.
Right. I would say, because I watched it repeatedly. Not before this. I kind of watched it a couple of times, one in English and one in Japanese. I think the first question most would ask is, well, which one would you prefer? Or in other words, which one is a little bit more emotional? Because obviously, when you look at the whole picture, they both are emotional. But
yeah.
But I'll just say this. I would say the music in the English dub is actually a little bit better. Actually, a little bit better than the Japanese a little bit.
And it brings a little bit of context into Mewtwo's psyche as to why he's doing what he does. It's kind of weird that he loses memory, unfortunately, after all of that. But, it does make some of it does make sense, like why Mewtwo has Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur when he fights off against the others, because they're basically supposed to be like his callbacks to that Charmander, the Squirtle, and the Bulbasaur that didn't make it during the cloning process.
I think the one scene in the English dub that kind of fucked me up, and I'm sorry for spoiling it for those that haven't seen it, but I'll just say it anyways. The one part, I think it was the professor when he was sitting in this chair, and you could hear him talking to his wife, and she's just like, "Oh, give it up, she's not coming back." And
right.
He's like, he's like persisting that he can do something about it. And then you see like and then the next thing you see like her hand kind of
disappearing.
No, I mean, it wasn't disappear. It was more so of like, you know how like you're grabbing onto something and then you kind of just clench your hand, like you're, you know, that sort of thing. And then the next thing you would see like a key and then a note below, and it looks like she's just narrating what she said in the letter, and she's just like, I just can't be with you while you're.
Yeah, they had a divorce because he was basically persistent on trying to clone his daughter back. It's pretty freaking heavy.
It actually got me pretty good.
I don't think it made it into the movie theaters because it was too damn dark.
Yeah, because I don't think I heard about this until way later.
Yeah, I think it's way too dark. You don't want to start your movie off that dark, so let's instead have Pikachu and the others go on a vacation.
I'm pretty sure that was the last minute thing. I would have to guess, but yeah. That scene itself was pretty. It was pretty sad, honestly.
It makes the movie better, though. Like
it makes it way better.
Let's not lie. It's a great add-on to the movie because, it doesn't justify everything that Mewtwo does, but it does like give us a little bit of a perspective of Mewtwo.
Right. And then, of course, there's the near the end, which is where those clones, those clones just go bye-bye, and then you see...
I don't feel good, Mr. Stark.
And then, you see Amber, which is her English dub name.
Yeah, it is Amber.
We'll just go by Amber, just because I remember it's common. But anyways, Amber then perishes. Then you see Mewtwo just kind of...
There.
He's just upset. They added in the serum. And, when they added into the serum, I think that's kind of what made his personality, if you could kind of tell. Because, as they show him in the dark and over the years, and then literally the last thing you hear from him is like, why? And then you're like, oh, so that's where he got it from. Because, the serum was supposed to make him... I don't know what the purpose of the serum was.
It was supposed to stabilize him. It was supposed to stabilize him because he was getting too emotionally invested in Amber and the Pokemon.
I honestly, I don't think the serum did a whole lot because he was still emotionally invested in a way.
I mean, he was, but they tried to keep his emotions in check, basically. They didn't stop him from having emotions. They just tried to keep him in check. It basically
went from angry to depressive, in a way. But yeah, overall, with the birth of Mewtwo in mind, because the way I'm thinking about this is that some people might ask, well, with the birth of Mewtwo in mind, does your rating change? Personally, maybe by 0.5, but maybe by 0.5, 6.5. But
it doesn't change a whole lot. Yeah, it's only 10 minutes long, so there's not much you can really do with it.
Yeah, it's a nice add-on. It really does a good job of explaining a whole lot about Mewtwo, but it doesn't change the fact that movie one's plot is bare as shit. Like, it's just, it doesn't change that fact at all.
I love Richie when he gets savage.
Hey, someone's got to dish out the facts. The underground.
God
but
damn.
No, yeah, I mean, it's just a nice add-on. I just don't see it it doesn't justify the fact that movie one's plot again is bare. It's just the way it is. I mean, I still rewatch it if it was like on a TV guide, but I'm not gonna watch it and be like, oh, I'm gonna expect something special because I mean, unless if you haven't seen the movie, then I can understand that. But if you've already seen this movie, you're just rewatching it because hey, it's Pokemon. I gotta watch it for old time's sake. So that's just pretty much it for me. What about you, Taro?
Again, I kind of had that one in mind when I gave it the 7 out of 10. So my thoughts are pretty much the same there. Go watch the special if you haven't. Just a nice look into the world of Pokemon that doesn't involve Ash Ketchum in it. That's another thing that makes it interesting.
God damn.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will watch that
because when Ash isn't there, the atmosphere changes a little bit.
Well, yeah, because you're allowed to have another atmosphere.
Right.
Otherwise, you're breathing the same goddamn air like you always are.
Right.
And some people start suffocating, but that's a whole other problem in its own right.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I got to say about it.
All right.
So, oh wait, hold on. Last thing, real quick.
Go ahead.
Do we even talk about the TV special, or do we just not?
Are you talking
Or do
about
we just-
the sequel?
Yeah,
Technically?
the trash sequel.
We'll come to it later.
Considering it's in Johto, and we
Yeah,
still
we'll come
have
to it later.
and we have Johto films to do. We
Alright.
actually have 2
Alright, that's
Johto
fine.
films to. No, I'm lying. We have 3 Johto films to do. Right?
Yeah,
Forever.
Is Johto.
Movie 3
So 2, 3, and 4.
and Heroes.
No, Heroes is Heroes.
And
actually,
Johto.
it's Johto only because of Misty and Brock, even though it technically has Hoenn Pokemon in it.
Like Ash is coming back from being done with Johto stuff, but yeah, Hoenn.
I guess so. We could. We'll see how we feel.
Technically, movie 5 is part of Johto anyway.
I guess technically because it doesn't include May or Max, which ironically, no, May and Max only get like what 3 films, right?
Yeah. Free.
Jirachi, Deoxys, and Manaphy, right? No,
No.
Lucario.
four. So Deoxys, Manaphy, Lucario, and what did I miss? Oh,
Jirachi, Deoxys, Lucario, and Manaphy.
So he gets 4
Yeah,
films.
so that's 4.
Okay, that's fine. So I guess we'll decide around movie 4 or 5 if we're gonna do the Mewtwo special, depending on how this is gone. Because at that point we will have been doing it for almost 2 months around that point. So the next one, obviously, I don't know if it has a different name. Oh wait, it does. I think
does.
In English, I believe it's just called Pokemon the Movie 2000. In Japan, it's called Pokemon the Movie The Power of One, right?
Yeah, in America, they still recognize that it's called The Power of One, though.
But the 2000 is an American title, like that.
Yeah,
was
2000 is like, it's like, Pokemon, the movie 2000.
This is what I'm gonna do it, and that's where we get the first thing that will become common in all the films. Characters will randomly switch out without any context. Bye, Brock. We'll see you later.
Right.
Bye, Brock.
That's such a weird thing because technically that means there's only one Kanto film.
This one rides the borders of Kanto and Johto, I guess.
I guess with the fact that you have Tracy and it's I guess.
Gen 1.5.
Well, that is essentially what fucking Orange
Yeah,
Islands
that's
were.
essentially what it is.
That is what the Orange Islands were at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
the next time we meet back, we will be doing Pokemon the Movie 2000, The Power of One, and God, prepare yourselves, folks, because we're literally going from like 50 to a fucking 100. It's God. It's a slight spoiler of how I feel about that film, but and this is before I'm rewatching it, so this may change, but just prepare yourselves, because even if you don't like movie 2 was a hell of a shift considering what movie 1 is. But
I mean, to be fair, because I was reading some shit about movie 1, like I said, and I read somewhere that they wanted to make movie 2 more fun and bright than what movie 1 was.
Oh no, they got that down. Also, didn't it came out like a year after the first movie, right? That's when literally this is the start of Pokemon being a yearly series, a yearly movie thing, right?
I gotta find out.
We'll research it for the next one. But as far as this video, it's done. Leave your thoughts and comments about the first movie in the comment section below. Do you like it? What would you give it? And are you excited for the movie 2 review? And if you want to, you can be rewatching the films along with us as these videos come out, and leave your fresh thoughts in the comment section below. So prepare yourself, because the movie fun is only beginning. Thank you, Taro. Thank you, Richie, for showing up, because we got more shit to do. So go get your pickaxes, because we're gonna be digging through a bunch of fucking shit for a while. Anywho, this has been Insane Game Freak. Once a game for the win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Fucking Mewtwo. You're so fucking amazing, but you can't open your goddamn mouth, you piece of shit. Later days.
Bye.